So it's seriously beautiful outside, but it's a little cold. I just want to sit here in my truck and paint the leaves. It's been kind of fun to do so, and this is the finished result. And I'm going to show you how I did it using these pencils and this paint box and this truck. So the first thing I'll show you is this steering wheel chair I bought on Amazon. Really sturdy, just hooks on. It's nice. Allows me to put my art box on top of it. You don't have to. You can obviously just draw on the tray table itself. But since all my gear is in here, I'm using that. So I'm sitting here in my truck. I thought this was a nice little scene that I could paint. And I spend some time sketching what I call a no-tan, or just the darkest values and the lightest values. The reason I wanted to try that is because I've been reading about it, and it seems like a good way to really make sure you get the composition right. I've been using these museum Aquarelle pencils on this Canson Artboard. Another cool thing about this paint box is this water cup with a magnet on the bottom so it doesn't spill. One of my favorite things of watercolor pencils is putting on the water and blending out the strokes from the pencil. So my approach to this painting was to just focus on the darkest darks of the rock and the trees. I do this first instead of the color just to make sure my contrasts stay good, and I want to make sure that by the time I'm done it's not just a mess of color, but you can actually see the rock. Part of the reason I enjoy painting in the truck is because it's so relaxing. It's kind of a slow process, and it makes me slow down and just enjoy the world around me. But as I go through this, I might have to speed up this painting just to show you some of the other aspects of painting in the truck, like the gear I used and how it turned out. So here now I'm starting to use color, and I'm using some reds and some oranges and some yellows. And I'm going to dab around a bit just to make sure they blend naturally. And I'm going to go back and forth a lot, trying to get the colors to match what I'm seeing. This is my setup here. Got a GoPro. Well, it's not a GoPro, it's a cheap action camera. It clips onto my box. And it's kind of fun to just try to make these videos. Still too much blue in this, and I'll be working on that. To do that, I'm going to use this raw umber color in the Caran Museum Aquarelle pencils. I find that it doesn't matter what my underpainting is, as long as the values are right, because these pencils are semi-opaque if you use enough of it. So I'm going to go back and forth, wetting and drying and wetting and drying, just to see if I can get the color harmony to work out for me. I also try not to worry about getting too much paint in the wrong place, because especially with this artboard, I can erase and I can lighten up this area where I wanted to have leaves in front of the rock that are over this or part of this tree. It's nice to be able to erase and play around with this. By the way, I don't claim to be an expert artist here. I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm sharing it because I want to encourage people to just explore art and try things out. It's kind of fun. I also have a lot of fun trying to film these and trying to figure out how to use this camera. This action camera is actually on my chest and hanging from a cord around the back of my neck, just kind of sitting in my chest. Another option is to use the strap to attach it to the top lid of my box. That works pretty good, and that I think is a better angle. When I got home, I remembered I had these clips, which I think is a much better design than that strap. I'm able to clip it on, and it's a little bit cleaner to, or easier to use, and it goes back and forth, and I can get different angles. Back to the drawing. So I'm using these Derwent drawing pencils, which aren't water soluble, and Prismacolor pencils to bring out the details of these trees. The watercolor pencils are good for an underpainting, but when you want to get to details, especially this small of a picture or a canvas, it's better to use the dry pencils, I found. I like to go back and forth and just work on the details. Even though I have plenty of pencil holders, I end up holding them all in my hand at some point or the other. Just going back and forth with colors and seeing what I like and trying to pick out different variations of reds and browns and pinks and yellows. Back and forth. It's a fall scene. If you like what you saw here and these experiments, check out my other videos. I have lots of them, and I really enjoy doing this and hope you learn a few things and enjoy a practice of your own.